What's up, y'all? I'm Jannelle Moore, and welcome to I Got More. This is my first episode, and I'm excited to have with me today 1/4 of the NBA Bubble Life crew. I am joined by Drew Ruiz. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jannelle. How you doing?
I am doing great. And, the season is upon us, and you have been providing the Twitter and Instagram with premium content. I'd like to know, how did this idea of Bubble Life get started?
It started off as a text thread. I'm in a group chat with 4 guys within the industry. So one day we were talking, and it was like Nick DePaula said, "Hey, you know what would be cool? If we had an NBA Bubble Life content page, and it just served as a hub for all NBA Bubble Life related content." And in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, like I was kind of hesitant because I thought they wanted me to do everything. But as soon as everyone was on board, like we launched it, I think the tech started at 10:07. So we launched it at like 10:56. Wells, got the handle, got the email, got all that good stuff situated. And we were just firing off that night on the West Coast. So you got to think it's close to 11 over here. It's almost 2 on the East Coast, but it was just jumping. So we launched it, and the rollout's just been crazy. I think it's been great. All the press stuff has been great. Everybody really, really enjoys it. So, I mean, as long as we get content and people love it, we're just going to keep pushing it out.
I feel that. The motivation of this, of course, is providing the content and all, and it's a given. But have you thought about your content as in terms of documenting a time in sports history? What is that like? How does that feel?
I think we're obviously in a weird time right now. And I love the page. I love that I get to work alongside, 3 of my great friends. The thing why we launched it is because we both know it's a wild time right now. We're living in the middle of a pandemic, all the racial injustices that are going on in the world, so we just wanted to shed light on positivity. And by doing that, by these guys being in the bubble, they're going to post. So it's interesting because you look at NBA players and they're multimillionaires, right? They live in the best houses. They stay in the best hotels. They eat the best food. It's everything they do is the best. So to see them kind of going to a resort where, let's say, like, hey, maybe I would go with my family and stay in a regular size hotel. It's kind of funny looking at it because these guys aren't used to it. They stay at 5-star everything. So to kind of document that, it's been great because a lot of these guys, they probably haven't done this since their AAU days or maybe high school days. So we're living in an interesting time, obviously, because these guys are just having fun. When they're not getting ready for games or practice and stuff like that, they're going out fishing. Like, yeah, there's some guys in the NBA like Paul George who fish on the regular. But we've seen so many guys who just go out, fish, they're playing cornhole, they're playing pool. I mean, they're just joking, having a fun time. They're on the boat, just chilling. And it's like summer camp for a lot of these millionaires. So it's just been interesting to document it, to see like what is the quote unquote new normal right now.
Yeah, and that brings up my point. What do fans, what would they be shocked to learn about these guys? And you kindly described that, they're chilling, they're fishing or what have you, but what would be shocking for us fans to learn about these guys? And what have you even learned about these guys, documenting them?
I mean, what I've learned is these guys, in a sense, are like us. Minus, obviously the money is different, right? But these guys are like us in the sense that they're just goofing around, having fun, and they're showing the world that, which I think has been the greatest part about it. Like, these guys are drinking beers. These guys are, like I said, they're playing golf, they're playing cornhole, they're doing all these things. So it kind of shows people that, yeah, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm an NBA player and maybe I get paid millions to play this game. But at the end of the day, you got to realize I'm a person too. Like, I do these things too. I play video games on the daily. I joke with my friends on Instagram Live. We're just all having a good time. So I think that's probably been the one takeaway that I've gotten from this.
I always say, you're right. I always say that these guys are ordinary people with extraordinary talent, and extraordinary circumstances. So I get it. You know, they are no different than us at the end of the day. And for example, that's what, you know, somebody like KD has been trying to tell everybody. You know, we're just normal people. Our circumstances are abnormal, but, you know, we're just normal. So I get that. And, you know, I have to talk about Lou. I mean, you know, everybody know what happened with him. I mean, me personally, you know, if you have followed Lou, you know, he gets wings at Magic City. I mean, you know, that's been well documented. And me personally, I don't even think that's a big of a deal, you know. And I think that he is, I guess, trying to make it count. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think the whole situation is funny. I don't think I'm in a position to really sit here and speculate and say, hey, this is what Lou Will did. This is what the NBA should do. Again, that's none of my business. I think Lou Will, you know, is a proven vet. He's been doing it for some time. Lou Will he's a hooper. You know, I knew a dude who said there's a difference between basketball players and hoopers, and Lou Will is a hooper. Lou Will can go. Let's say it's during that regular NBA season. Lou Will can go to Magic City, play the next night, and give you 30. Like, that's just who Lou Will is, right? And I think him just being, you know, an Atlanta guy, that's just what he's used to, right? I'm not saying, oh, you know, Lou went here and hey, if he said he went to grab something to eat, I mean, I'm gonna take the man's word for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in no position like to say, oh, you know, damn Lou, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, you know, I'm in no position to say what a grown man should do. Right. You know, especially with a grown man who makes probably 100 times more than what I make. I just think it was funny because it's like the scope of things are real funny, right? Because, you know, he leaves the bubble, gets an excused absence. And I think, you know, it was a picture, right? It was a picture of just, you know, him and Jack Harlow. So you don't really know what it is. But I think a lot of people speculate and say, oh, Lou was at the strip club. Lou was doing this. Lou was partying. So it's kind of the world we live in with social media. But again, it is what it is, right? Like that's Lou Will went to grab food. I'm sticking with the Lou Will went to grab food. And even if you know what I'm saying, like that's what he decides to do. You know, he's gonna stay quarantined for 10 days and just go what it is. But I really don't pay too much time to it.
I agree. And from what you said about there's a difference between hoopers and basketball players, I actually said that in an article that I've written. It was for the basketball writers. That site has now been closed, and I did a ode to Allen Iverson, and I said that Iverson was like a hooper moonlighting as a basketball player. So I really get that. And Lou Will is a hooper, and I believe this quarantine is just a bump in the road, and he'll be ready to go after missing those 2 seeding games. And I don't think the Clippers will miss a beat. I really don't. I mean,
neither do I. I'm excited. It's nothing. It's a blip on the radar, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of which, you know, today the season is back. No more scrimmaging. It's the reseeding. What are your picks for the restarts? What are you looking for?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I just want to watch good. I want to watch good basketball and just see good matchups. I think just me. I don't have, you know, a set team. I think just working in media, that's kind of like the start of when you take a journalism 101 class, right? You got to put your fandom to the side. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm born and raised in LA. I grew up a Laker fan, right? But I love watching the Clippers. Like I just love basketball, you know? So whether it's NBA or WNBA, like I'm going to watch hoop, plain and simple. The only thing, I just want to see some good hoop. I want to see the matchups that the fans want to see. I want to see a Lakers Clippers Western Conference Finals. You know, that's probably, if you were to ask me what's something I really want, that's what I want. Give me 7 games of Lakers versus Clippers, both at their full strength, and let's just go from there.
I agree. What about, you know, as far as your content goes with the crew, who are your picks for all bubble first team, and who is the bubble MVP right now?
Oh, wow. Oh man. It's funny because we've discussed that in like some sense. It's kind of been whether we're doing like a power rankings or maybe like a first team MVP, like sixth man of the year. But I think to make that list right now, I think we would have to sit down and actually do it because there's so much good stuff. I mean, you have perfect example. You have JaVale McGee, you have Matisse Thybulle, you have Myers Leonard, Troy Brown, Troy Daniels. I'm trying to think who else we have. It's so many guys that are like doing some really funny things outside of playing games. So it's really tough to like narrow it down and give you that 5, but we're definitely going to come out with this list. So it should be a good one.
I can't wait for it. And yeah, you mentioned JaVale McGee. Yeah, he's a real good one. When he was at Golden State, he actually had a show on YouTube. And I think it was called like Parking Lot Chronicles.
Yeah, I remember that.
He is really a funny dude.
And I love
Myers Leonard is good as well. Any dark horses? The cats that you might think that ain't funny, but really is funny in a deadpan sort of way.
I'm trying to think, to tell you the truth. I've enjoyed. I don't know if I would say he's a dark horse, but I've enjoyed kind of like Luka Doncic's stuff. He hasn't really been posting crazy, but he was in the ice tub with Kristaps and he was drinking a beer. Like a lot of these guys are living. A lot of these guys they're at summer camp. So hey, they want to drink a beer, that's fine. I don't think one beer is gonna mess up an NBA player. Now if they're drinking every day and they're turning up at all hours of the day, that's a different story. But I think Luka's one. Trying to think who else. And you put me on the spot. Luka, Troy Brown. Troy Brown's stuff is good. I mean, he's not even a dark horse because he's a fan favorite. But Taco Fall. Taco Falls, I mean, he's funny dude. So yeah, that's probably like the list of guys I can give you off top. Hassan Whiteside's been great, obviously. Trying to think who else. Nasir Little from the Blazers been great. CJ McCollum's been great. So
yeah, CJ is pretty interesting because I think he posted it. He posted his library that he brought with him. And I like to read too. Right now I have a bunch of basketball books and it's interesting to see what he had read so far. I bet you at the time that he took that picture, it was like he was reading $40 Million Slaves, and I have yet to read that.
What's the great thing about NBA players is like they don't just do basketball 24/7. Obviously, that's their job. That's what they do. That's what they get paid to do. But a lot of these guys do interesting things. Some of them read. Some of them are like wine connoisseurs. Some of them, like Matisse Thybulle, shoot and edit their own content. Like how many NBA players do you know shoot and edit their own content?
Not many,
right? Because hey, I mean, why would I want to do that if I could have somebody else and I could just pay them, right?
Right.
So I mean, a lot of NBA guys they're interesting personalities. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, at the end of the day, they're just regular guys.
It's just regular dudes with ordinary circumstances and ordinary talents, and it's just amazing. And it's just amazing to just watch them year in and year out. And I think that's about all. And I thank you for your time. Anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, I just want to give a shout out to, first of all, Nick DePaula, Wells Phillips, and Trayvon Edwards, because without those guys, I don't think the bubble would be what it is. The great thing about working with them is we're just all egoless. You know what I'm saying? And I think we like to share the spotlight all together. The press stuff has been great. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love, being a hometown kid, seeing me and my friends in the LA Times and the New York Times, ESPN, TNT, all that good stuff. I think is great, but I don't want to take away from the initiative of why it is we launched this site or this page. We're coming out with a charity shirt, so all proceeds are going to benefit. I don't want to get it wrong. It's the Central Florida Black Nurses of Association. in Orlando. So, you know, be on the lookout for the merch and stuff like that. It's probably just going to be a simple t-shirt, one t-shirt, and that's it. But like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone else who showed love, follows the page. And as long as there's content, we're just going to continue to push it out.
And I hope you keep on pushing it out. I'll be there following. And
I appreciate it.
I thank you for your time, and you're welcome anytime. Bring the whole crew or whatever. I appreciate you coming on for the first episode of I Got More, and you know, I'm just hyped right now.
No, thank you. Like I said, it's all love on this side.
It's all love on this side too.
Appreciate you.
All right. I'd like to thank my guest Drew Ruiz for coming on today. Keep it locked every Thursday as I cover all things NBA. Until next week, I'm out.